Live from the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp, we have the NorCal three-point contest. I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores, and with me, I have Luke Avdalovich and Sonny Oaks. Thanks for being with me, guys. And you've probably heard Sonny Oaks on the court throughout the week, but Luke Avdalovich, first time joining us today. It's good to have the headset on. You're taking pictures already, but tell us who you are and why you're here.
So like you said, my name is Luke Avdalovich. I just finished up my college career at University of the Pacific, where I played 6-year Division I basketball, and I was kind of a shooter. I was a specialist. I was always a three-point shooter. That was kind of where I made my bones in the game, and so I think that's why they put me behind the mic, so I could provide some insight tonight for this three-point contest. But I'm excited. I'm excited to get to it.
Not only being one of the three-point commentators, but also one of the NBA division coaches. And as we start with Autumn Begley for the WNBA division, she's number 4 in this week's camp. But the rules to this game, obviously you have to be behind that three-point arc. All the balls are going to be worth 1 point, and there's 2 money balls, which is the 5th ball in the top rack and the 5th ball in the final rack. You cannot skip forward in balls. If you don't make it to those, then you're just not going to get a chance to shoot those.
Yeah, I want to give respect to all these women that are shooting. A bunch of them dropped out at the last minute with a couple of injuries. So big shout out to Begley for going out there. And she drains one.
Begley getting her first one there on the 3rd ball of the 2nd rack. 30 seconds left.
So what do you think about her form, Luke? Why is she hitting these ones that she is?
It's in the three-point contest. It's all about rhythm. It's all about rhythm. She's taking. Here she goes. She's starting to see a couple go through, and that's big for confidence when you get into these contests. But she's taking a dribble and a couple of steps into it. You got to get 25 shots up in a short amount of time. That's a lot of energy to expend. So it's good to be efficient with your movements. But she's watching a couple go through, and that's huge. That's definitely huge.
Yeah, we love to see it. A lot of the girls didn't want to try this just because they didn't want to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's a lot to put yourself on the line. And it's like Coach Ellis, who you know well and you're going to be working with next season, told everybody, sometimes you got to chase failure. That leads to success.
And that's what I told one of them. I said, who knows if you go out there and hit all 25. Like, you can't have any expectations going into it.
Money ball falls just shy, and that is 4 points for Autumn Begley. And not too bad for the first contestant of the day. In the WNBA, we only have 3 contestants, so 4 is the score to beat. And honestly, it's going to be kind of tough.
Yeah, she got a pretty good reaction from the rest of the campers and her teammates out there, so I think that's a good look.
Yeah, everybody's excited for this all day. They've been talking about it. They've been checking who's signed up. Some of them got shamed into signing up. And everybody just really wants to see who's going to walk around with that title.
Some players got shamed to sign up, Sonny. Is that what I heard? I wonder who that was.
Yeah, from an inside source, I heard that somebody was running around, no names. We're not going to name any names, but there was somebody out there really pushing kids to sign up when.
Inside source as in inside yourself.
It was me. The voice came from inside of Sonny.
There we go. All right, number 2 for the WNBA division, Allison Molina, and she knocks down her first attempt. It's a great start for Molina.
She was one of the people that might have got shamed into it, and look at her, nails her very first one out the block.
Again, that's huge for confidence. Again, on the 2nd rack, you got to start off hot every single time, and she just keep firing. That's what you got to do in this one.
She wasn't very clear on the rules, and I took them over to explain it, and they were worried if there was a time limit, and I had to let them know, yes, there is. So not really a three-point shooter, but how awesome to see her nail them, right out the gate.
That was a question I kept getting too. Was is there a time limit? And that's what I'm saying with and she's getting hot here, but that's what you got to be efficient with your movements, because in a minute, 25 shots, your arms are going to get tired if you're out there heaving every single shot. So you really got to be efficient with your jumper to get it up and over.
And that's one thing we talk about every year is the arms getting tired. 25 balls in 1 minute. You have to average almost 3 balls a second one ball every 3 seconds just to get all of these off. And that is definitely very difficult as Molina racks up a score of 6. But when it comes down to the three-point contest, it's all about changing your movement to help out the shot, right? You're off a little bit right, you have to overcorrect, go a little bit left. But how hard is that to do when you have to shoot that fast?
I think you can't think about it in huge increments. If you think every single shot has to be different, you're going to get a different result every single time. So, again, it's all about rhythm and finding that comfortable spot where, even if you rim out or you miss, you got to come back to your shot and trust your stroke every single time.
So, interesting story with Bella. Erin's coming up right here. She's a lockdown defender, and all the coaches have been telling me all week, as soon as she learns she can score, she's going to be big-time trouble. So it's great to see her signed up and heaving these threes all over the place.
Like you said, this is Isabella Aarons. She's the third and final contestant for the WNBA, and the score to beat is 6. Allison Molina, the previous player up, had that score. Autumn Begley before her had 4 and 6. Do you think she's going to get it?
I mean, early indications, you never know. I'd like to see her get a run, make a run at that 6 number. It'd be big for the WNBA division for sure.
What I'm noticing, first of all, is the way she's going up to shoot the ball. She has a wide stance, taking kind of a half step before she takes the shot, which is taking more time off. If it's more efficient, then it's definitely going to help her. But if she continues to miss, then that's definitely going to be devastating to her final score.
Well, honestly, a little gamemanship. She knows she only has to beat so many. She could have taken her time and at least clean that first rack out. Probably would have got her the title.
That's a veteran play out of you, Sonny. We were talking before. You said you go out there and put a couple in, but that's a big time play.
Nearly had the money ball just off the front iron.
Did you just call me old, Luke?
No, a veteran. That means experience mindset.
If Luke doesn't do it, I'll do it for him.
I appreciate you, Levi. I love the honesty. You know this.
Nah, man.
So often in our industry, we don't get the truth.
Isabella Aarons knocks down the final shot in the final rack, but that still only limits her to 2 made threes, which in the end comes down to it. Out of the 3 WNBA contestants, that means we have Allison Molina as the winner, but the camp coordinator, Dion I, asking if any other WNBA divisional players wants to come out and take a stab at this to beat the high score of 6.
I counted Crocs before the competition. That'll be the last WNBA player coming up.
Luke, did you see anybody through the camp that you would like to see up here right now?
It's a kid that I've been coaching with or against actually. His name is Mateo. He's in the NBA division, and he can really shoot the ball. He's a talented little kid, and I'd like to see what he can do out here. He was asking me some pointers and some questions before it, so I know he's locked in. So I think he could put up some good numbers.
Yeah, he plays on a team with a bunch of the other younger NBA division teams here, and they all play out of San Jose.
And so with that, I neglected to tell everyone, including myself, 2 rounds for the three-point contest. The top 2 finalists will have another round. So up with it, we have Autumn Begley, who had the score of 4 in her first round, trying to surpass that and beat the 6 of Allison Molina. But these first-round scores, they don't matter anymore. They got to the second round. Now it's all about what they do here. And Autumn Begley has a massive start with 2 on the first rack.
Yeah, I mean, starting off hot, not only for confidence, but just for that rhythm that I keep talking about, it is huge. And she's using a glass here. That's something you don't see often, and you gotta respect it.
Yeah, the bank was open for one last deposit even this late, and I know she's surprising herself right now. So that's the wonderful thing. That's one of the great things about coming to a camp like this. Sometimes you find something inside yourself you didn't know you had.
Now 6 points with 15 seconds to go in her time. Here's her first money ball. This is just shy of everything. And talking about the bank, Luke, can you give us your opinion about shooting bank shots? Do they still count even if you don't call it? That's a big deal when it comes to basketball.
I think you're asking the wrong guy because I personally hate it. I think no one actually lines up to hit the bank shot from the 3. But, at the end of the day, a bucket is a bucket. It's just a little irritating, I would say.
6 points for Autumn Begley in her second round, and Allison Molina, she asked to go second, so all she has to do is beat that 6, and she'll have a 3-point contest championship for the WNBA division, the 2023 NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp.
Yeah, it's tough going up first, you have to set the bar, and everybody can follow. So like that last round, we said Molina could have sat back, or Aarons could have sat back and just cleared that rack and taken her time. But it looks like they're just both going all out trying to get every ball in the basket, and that's great.
I think she may have stabbed herself somewhere here by going second just because Begley did so much better in her second round than her first, tying up Molina's first-round score. That may give a little doubt into her, but she does have 2, almost done with her third rack. Money ball. That could have been a game changer.
She's got a good pace going right here, though. I think she's going to get more shots up than our previous contestants, so this could be interesting down to the wire.
Has to knock down 3 more just to tie. 12 seconds to do so. Entering her final rack, 5 balls left. That money ball, if she can get there, may come in handy, but she needs to hit one of these first. She does that. This to tie. No! Autumn Begley will be your WNBA three-point contest champion for the 2023 NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. It's Autumn Begley.
She was also a late entrance into this competition, so it's great. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, she was over here asking some quick pointers and questions before, a little nervous. She actually had Crocs on before, so
they're still sitting in front of us. Yeah. We made her run and go put her basketball shoes on. Couldn't believe it.
An impressive win for sure.
And Luke, we're gonna have you take off the headset for a moment, bring over Autumn Begley. We'll ask her a few questions about it.
Hey Autumn, great job out there. Glad you weren't wearing your Crocs. How did you feel?
Nervous.
Yeah, but how about now that you won?
Excited.
Excited? What are you going to tell everybody about this competition?
I think basketball pays off and that you should always dig deep for what you want to do in life. And if basketball is what you want to do, you got to practice hard enough and you just stop thinking and start shooting.
And now, Autumn, right before the competition, I'm writing down the names in order, and your name came up first. You came over and you said, oh, where am I in the list? And I go, number 1, you signed up first, and you were devastated. You didn't want to go first. What happened out there that changed your mind and ended up winning the competition for you?
My coach.
And what did she tell you?
She told me that confidence is key and not to follow your dreams.
And since you have the headset on, would you like to shout anyone out, maybe at home watching right now?
I want to thank thanks to my mom and my brother and my dad for supporting me through basketball. I want to especially say thanks to my dad for building me a half court in my shop for me and my brother.
Well, congratulations, our WNBA three-point champion, Autumn Begley.
You got a bathroom.
I do, probably, huh?
Thank you, Autumn. That was awesome.
WNBA champion Autumn Begley. And all of you that did compete, we appreciate you taking advantage of the opportunity.
NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores, Sonny Oaks, and Luke Avdolovich back in the booth. And as we just wrapped up the WNBA, Autumn Begley was our champion. And when it comes down to it, break down the numbers, right? First round, Autumn Begley, 4. Allison Molina, 6. Molina, she had the highest score, so she says, I want to go second in the championship round. Begley goes up, same score as Molina did in the first round, and then it flip-flops. 6 for Begley, 4 for Molina. Luke, do you want to break anything down? Begley had something to say about that, but what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
You know, I think it just shows you how big that final round is. You know, you could squeak your way into the championship round, but as long as you come out when the lights are brightest, that's when it counts. And so, you know, that's what she did, and, you know, it was pretty dope to see. So congrats to her.
Moving on to the NBA division now. Up first is Luke Green, and 2 of his brothers are here as well, Sean and Ryan, and they will be competing later in the D-League. But here is Luke Green now with 1 point through 2 racks.
This kid's a shooter. The whole family is. I know they've been running their legs off, so I hope they still have enough juice in them to actually show off their skills, because these kids can pull the string from just about anywhere.
And as the youngest brother, I know, because I'm the youngest in my family as well, most potential.
You do see that a lot. But this is a kid that I coach. You know, I have the pleasure of coaching him in the camp, and he was so excited for this competition. So I like seeing him out here chucking them up. It's fun.
1 point for Luke Green, and like you said, well, I said it too, but a lot of potential. Just that time, kind of underperforming for what we thought, but it just comes down to the moment itself.
Definitely. You know, you see it a lot. You know, in the NBA three-point contest and the college one, you know, there's a lot of favorites and there's a lot of guys that they talk about, and sometimes they don't always show up, and, you know, it happens, but that means it's a chance for someone else to come out and prove something. So excited to see who steps up.
Yeah, this NBA league, there's not really a bad player among the group. They're all really fun to watch. They all compete. And here comes one of everybody's favorites, Mateo.
Yeah, here's Mateo, man. This was one I was excited to see for sure. And, you know, I think you hit the nail right on the head with this division. They go out there, they play the same team every single time, and they just go out there and compete and have fun. And, like, they like playing against each other. Like, they kept telling each other, good shot, nice play and everything. And, like, you don't see that very often nowadays. So it's just fun to be able to coach them and be out there with them every day.
And year by year, it gets harder to become better at the game because everyone else is getting better with you. And with the NBA being of such importance in America and the entire world, to become this good at this age, it could definitely become something later in the future.
This is a really hard ask for these kids, too, because that's a lot of basketballs to get up in the air in such a short time.
And at the end of the day, I know they've played 2 games. They play pickup with each other at all the breaks and stuff all the time, too. So I know the legs are feeling tired.
He hit a couple in a row there. He's coming up on his last rack. Let's see if we can get through him.
It'll count if it goes. Just rattles off at the last second, but a score of 2 for Mateo Lomelai. And that ties up our first 2 contestants, Luke Green, Mateo Lomelai with 2 apiece. We have 5 contestants in the NBA division as of now, and up next will be PJ Mina. But before we continue on, one of my favorite questions every year is how well do you think you can do in this competition? And I've had the opportunity to go afterwards, shoot a few rounds, and my high score was 19, but that was probably in my 3rd or 4th round. So I'm going to start with Sonny Oaks because I feel like your number might be around mine, and then we'll allow Luke Avdalovic to tell us his 26.
Well, pre-surgeries, I would have felt pretty confident about it. Post-surgeries, I might just granny as many as I could before the time ran out and see what I end up with. I definitely just try to make every money ball. I'll guarantee that.
There you go, Luke.
You know, a kid asked me this before too, and I actually do a similar drill to this when I'm working out, and I always shoot for 80%, so that'll put me at the 20 mark. Honestly, for me, with the way that I feel like I can shoot, I would want to make every single shot. I'm not going to sit here and say I would make 25, so 20 would be the number that I think I could go out and get.
Do you have any personal records that you'd like to share with us?
Depends on what you're asking. I'm a numbers guy, so when I hit a milestone like that, I definitely keep it in the vault. But it depends on what you're asking about.
My personal record was like 37 tacos in one sitting.
That's impressive.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
This is a place called La Esquinita in San Luis Potosí, Mexico.
Not a sponsor.
Highly recommended.
3 points for PJ Mina. He now leads the NBA division with 2 more contestants to go, but they're 2 big names just like everyone else. DJ Nurnberg will be next, and then Jameis Sullivan after him. 3 made threes. What do you think?
I think we're in for a battle here. You know, DJ and Jameson, you know, they can both shoot the ball. Like I said, I get to work with this group every single day, so I've definitely seen both of them get hot fast. So this can go any way.
And a correction on that last score for PJ Mina, he actually ended with 4, so he's doubled up the previous 2 contestants.
PJ Mina's been one of the standouts this week so far as well. He's got great ball handling. Obviously, he knows how to shoot from deep. And I always see him getting his teammates involved.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I see from everybody in this league is something I ask them every day. How many assists are you going to get today? And every day they're telling me they're going to get more than they did the day before.
And it surprises me every year, too, as soon as we have our evaluation games, which are the games on Monday. They're just getting evaluated by the coaches. They have no coaching whatsoever. But they go out there, they play their best, and almost everyone's unselfish. They pass the ball. They look for that open player, whether they're trying to get with the best coach possible or that's just their style of gameplay. Every year it gets better and better.
Yeah, the first practice I had with my team, that was kind of the first thing I wanted to stress was, you know, I want to get everyone involved. You know, we're going to have an offense where it's a lot of motion. Everyone's going to touch the ball. In that first game, they bought into it immediately. It wasn't like ripping a Band-Aid off or anything. You know, just a bunch of great kids. Like, they want to see everybody get better, and so they're all bought in.
You know, one of the things is as you get better and older, more people tell you how good you are. Sometimes it's hard to keep that head in check, you know.
4 points for DJ Nurnberg through 3 racks, entering his 4th with 10 seconds left to shoot, but he has broken the record and continues to elevate it. Short on the last ball of that rack. He will get this off in time, and that one's short as well. 6 points for DJ Nurnberg. And for a moment, I would just like to go back to the unselfish gameplay because this is what gets me in trouble a little bit because I love to pass. I like the assist. Of course, everyone likes to see that ball go through. But how much gameplay of unselfish gameplay becomes too much unselfish gameplay?
I think it's when you're passing up open looks that you know you're confident in. And, you know, for me, like, you always hear coaches talk about if you could turn down a good shot for a great shot, that's good. But if you have a great shot and, it's something that you work on, you're confident in, you got to step up and knock it down.
Yeah, there's high percentage shots, there's low percentage shots. A great shot is one that you are confident making and you're above 50%.
And I think another part is, like I said, it's one that you work on. I've been telling these kids, too, I don't want you to come out here and do something that you've never worked on. But, we sat there down at the lower courts and we worked on our shooting form from around 15 feet all day yesterday. And, if you get an open look from that spot, go ahead and let it fly.
3 points for Jameis Sullivan, counted for 4. Top rack, he's about to head to the money ball as he knocks down his 5th. That money ball can automatically put his bid in to the second round. It does! Jameis Sullivan knocks it through and has a high score of 7 and can elevate the score even more, but he has that second round coming his way.
I think something to note with him, he's not getting as much of a heave in as some of the other kids, and I think that's helping him. He's getting more shots up. He's getting it over the rim a lot easier.
And there goes the buzzer. 8 points for Jameis Sullivan. He has the second round, and he'll be facing DJ Nurnberg.
Some players say any shot they get off is a good shot.
Jameis Sullivan with 8 and DJ Nurnberg.
And some players say any shot that misses is the only thing is a bad shot.
Jameis wants to go second. So
Can't say I agree with that one.
I don't agree with it at all, but we got some high volume shooters that we've seen in the past in the higher leagues, and you're not going to tell Jamar Crawford not to take a shot from anywhere at any time.
That's definitely for sure.
So our 2 finalists, DJ Nurnberg, who was elected to go first by Jameis Sullivan, we'll see Sullivan right after. Nurnberg's first round, 6 points. Jameis Sullivan's first round, 8 points.
Think that's gamemanship by Sullivan to put the pressure on his buddy, Nurnberg?
It might be a little bit of fatigue, too. He just went for his minute, and, going back-to-back almost 2 minutes straight, that might be a little tough. So might want a quick breather, get the arms back underneath him, and get going.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Nurnberg not folding, though. He's nailing him here.
Halfway through the clock, he has 4 yet to get to that first money ball. Almost got number 5, but here's money ball 1 and still remains at 4.
He's got a great release. If you watch the way he snaps his wrist down, that's what you try to teach every single time when you're talking shooting fundamentals. They say put the hand in the cookie jar. He does it really well.
My dad always called it the gooseneck. Go up and feed the duck.
Yeah, exactly.
2 seconds. Buzzer sounds. I think they'll count that last one, but it just went shy. So 5 points for DJ Nurnberg, 1 short of what he had in his first round, but now Jameis Sullivan has to beat that.
I just want to make a quick public service announcement. Shooting these threes is the only time it's okay to feed the ducks.
Official score is 4 for DJ Nurnberg.
They're actually going to change that score from 5 to 4.
Money ball's only at the top of the key and the corner. I didn't have enough purple balls.
So 1 less for Sullivan to have to get up.
There's only 2 money balls, guys. We're ready when you take your first shot.
Remember, money ball is only the 3rd rack final ball and the 5th rack final ball. Sullivan, all he needs is 5 to be crowned the NBA Division 3-point contest championship.
Started off pretty good with 1 on the first rack. He's got a good pace going, so it'll be interesting to see. I think he has a good shot here.
That was a great release on his part on that last one. I like that a lot. It's kind of like the home run derby. You shoot so many, sometimes you can lose your form, and it translates to the next game, and you're just not able to hit. But if you keep shooting with form and consistency, you should be all right.
Sullivan starting to hit on the top rack. This is the most important. Has the money ball at the back, and no one has yet to finish all 5 racks for the win. Not quite there. 4 points. He's tied. All he needs is 1 in the last 15 seconds.
I think the consistency part that you're hitting on is right, because even his misses were hitting a lot of the same spots on the rim, and that's a good indicator.
Sullivan got number 5. That's a victory for Jameis Sullivan, and he continues to move forth with it. Jameis Sullivan, the NBA Division 3-point contest champion. Luke, your thoughts?
I can't say I'm surprised. This kid, I think, hit 4 threes on us today in the game. He's definitely got a really good shot form, good stroke, and, it was nice to see him make some shots tonight.
And, Luke, since you're one of the NBA Division coaches, we're going to have you stay here while Jameis Sullivan comes over.
Here he comes. Right here, my man.
NBA Division three-point contest champion Jameis Sullivan. His first round was the most impressive, making 8 points, second round 6 points, but he did what was possible, beating out DJ Nurnberg, who had a score of 4 in that second round. Jameis, what did you think when you were going out there for that second round? You said, I need to beat a score of 4. I had 8 in that first round. Were the nerves getting to you at all?
I mean, I was kind of tired, though.
You were tired. That's exactly what Luke had to mention. You had just finished your first minute. You had to go out there for your second one. Luke, you're an NBA coach. You've seen him play out there. What do you think?
I was telling him you've been shooting well all week, so I wasn't surprised to see you knock down some shots. But I wanted to ask you, what was your mindset coming into this? It's 25 shots in a minute. It's kind of a lot. What were you thinking about going into it?
Well, I just wanted to win.
Just wanted to win?
Guess.
It's a good mindset to have.
Definitely.
Do you want to shout anyone out who might be watching?
I mean, my dad is right there, so.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Mr. Sullivan here at the camp watching his son win the three-point contest. Congratulations once more, the NBA Division three-point contest champion, Jameis Sullivan, with a second-round score of 6.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
With that, the WNBA winner, Autumn Begley, that was the first round. Then the NBA division, Jameis Sullivan, just got a chance to talk to him. And now coming up, we have the D-League, and this is the second most contestants we have today. D-League will start off with the 2 Reen brothers, in which we saw Luke Reen in that previous round. And now, what are your expectations seeing the 2 older brothers go in this three-point contest?
I think it's just going to be another set of competitive mindsets. These are some kids that I've gotten to know a little bit this week. They're great kids, got a great head on their shoulders. So I think they're just going to want to come out here, have fun, and they're going to try their best, and hopefully they do well.
That was the voice of Luke Avdolovich. Sonny Oaks right beside him. I'm Levi Flores, NorCal's voice of choice in this D-League. They are the middle school group, 7th and 8th graders. In the high school group, we go all the way up to 12th grade, but this camp we actually have 9th and 10th graders in that high school division. So it's a little bit different from what we've seen, a younger group. Hopefully, if they return for the camps in the next 2 years, they'll know their competition a little bit better and go against that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot of these kids are building bonds with each other, on and off the court, and I think that's big. Summer camp was always one of the most fun times for me. Met a bunch of my favorite teammates and friends, and so, it's cool to see them grow together.
Yeah, brothers and twins, friends and teammates up and down these rosters in this league. So this is going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot on the line here, and it's all about bragging rights. Everybody wants this title when they go home.
Thank you for joining us for the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp three-point contest. If you want any information about this week's camp and our upcoming camp in July, you can go to norcalsportstv.com/camp. And also, if you want your camper's individual highlight package, you can purchase that at norcalsportstv.com/add-ons 2023. And now, Luke, this is your first time here at the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. What do you like about it?
I like the atmosphere. I think you can't get anything like this. And, you're up here in the mountains. The views are incredible. I was reffing one of the games, and I was just in awe of the sunset going on. I was like, I couldn't focus.
And
so
that's why you missed that travel. I got
it. See, you weren't even on the call that game, so that's how I know. But, no, I think the atmosphere is great. You got a great set of coaches. The guys on the mics are great. I think, what they're doing here with NorCal Sports TV and for the kids, it's pretty awesome. I'm a little jealous. I wish I had this when I was growing up. But it's an amazing atmosphere, and I think I'm learning a lot too, just being around the kids and the other coaches. So I think it's just like a really good atmosphere to be around.
You can follow Luke through his journey, luke.avdo. Is that Twitter?
That's Instagram.
Instagram, you could follow him there. Sonny Oaks, also your first time at camp. You can follow him at The Big Show, Sonny O, and myself, Levi F01 on Twitter and Instagram. Sonny, first time at camp. You haven't worked a ton for NorCal Sports TV, but you were the voice of the San Jose City College Jaguars, I believe, with our camp director, Dion's brother, Devin, and you got to see their full season all the way into the playoffs. Tell us about your experience with NorCal Sports TV, and then end it with a recap on the camp.
Well, it was pretty amazing. I started out just doing radio calls for them as a student at that school. And when the funding came through to get the cameras, they needed an announcer. And Coach Devin and I called me up before the season, asked if I'd like to do it. It was a wonderful opportunity. I knew some of the kids from the team already. And to watch the journey that they got through the playoffs was great. At a certain point in the season, one of our other broadcast partners here, Gabe Chavarro, got to join. He was somebody I did calls with on the radio as well. So it was just a big, fun journey, and that relationship has continued, obviously, with Dion here at the camp. And just really quickly, I want to thank our hosts here at day camp. The food's been amazing. The hospitality's been amazing. None of this would be possible without them. And one of my favorite parts is how Dion tells us he would be at this same camp when he was a kid, and he wanted to continue that tradition. That's what it's all about, keeping that circle going.
Well, we'll introduce some of our coaches, too. They're not going to join us, but we'll talk about them. Denny I, the legendary CCC MBCA Hall of Fame coach. That's the California Community College Men's Basketball Coaching Association Hall of Fame. Denny I, he coached at multiple colleges through California and other states, but is most notable the local Columbia College, where they have their only state championship title under Denny I, and that was back in 1993. Along with him is now Rob Hoyt, the current head coach at Columbia, and he's awaiting his state title still, going to the playoffs year after year after year, and they're looking pretty good this year as well, entering at number 2.
A lot of good basketball players coming to Northern California in all these leagues and divisions. So definitely a lot of good scouts, a lot of good players for scouts to check out here.
Ryan Reen is our first contestant in the D-League competition, and his dad, actually the athletic director at Columbia College.
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell right out the gates, he's trying to get him up quick. He's trying to get him out fast. I'm not surprised. Maybe he'll get his feet under him a little bit here and knock some home, but, another great competitor, so I'm excited to see him going.
I've seen him play many of times. He practices on the JC court. He's a knockdown shooter, although this is the third day. It is late at night. You're going to be tired, and you just have to keep that energy up. Maybe go get a slushie in the snack bar just to pump up your energy a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to have some adrenaline pumping. This is like I said, this was my favorite competition growing up, and I was always amped for this. So I know a lot of these kids probably had this event circled on the calendar, and so they were just waiting for it.
Yeah, I love to see Autumn Begley, the girls champion, out there rebounding for the boys now. Just can't get enough of this basketball. Truly a passion.
That's 8 points for Ryan Reed. Now, one thing I saw in his final rack there, he was just trying to launch as many balls as possible. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it goes person by person. Me personally, I would say, try to get as many correct form shots up as you can. Those are the ones that you can feel confident in, and those are the consistent reps that you always get. So I don't think it's the best strategy, but, if maybe he practiced that. So I can't sit here and say that that wasn't something that he had going into this competition.
Up next is his younger brother, Sean Reen. We'll see if he can beat out his brother, who had a score of 8. Clock starts on the first shot.
These Reen boys not only have game, obviously, because of their dad and the situation, how much they love it, but they put a lot of work into helping their teammates and everybody else in the league, and that's something you love to see. Something Coach Denny I stressed on the first day was when you know how to explain something to somebody is when you know how to know it.
You see a little brother Luke out there rebounding for him, too, trying to see his brother do well here on this round.
I want to shout out Coach Reen, too, because I know that he's watching. During COVID, I took a class online where he was the professor, and the class was power walking. I mean, I got a credit out of it, so I'm not complaining, but it was one of the best professors I had because he said, "Oh, you walked? Awesome, A+."
So I would recommend that you go find George Carlin's little skit about walking. It's highly entertaining, and I think you'll love it, Levi.
4 points, final rack. Sean Reen needs to do a little bit more. Gets another, that's 5. And won't get number 6, so he falls just shy of his brother Ryan, but he's not out of it yet. Remember, plenty more contestants. They have to beat out that number 5 spot before he's actually eliminated. And here's all the contestants.
I give him credit. He almost got to the final ball on the last rack, and that's in itself is a win.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen anybody really get through all the racks with a consistent shot. If they were rushing them at the end, maybe they got towards the last couple balls, but, getting them up at a high rate is definitely one of the harder parts of this competition.
Yeah, it's like going boxing for the first time. You think 3 minutes isn't a long time until a minute goes by and you want to throw up and sit down. It's the same thing going through all these different basketball racks.
Another specified question to you, Luke. how many campers do you see out here that we'll possibly see in a professional league later in the future?
I think, I think you can't put a number on it. All these kids clearly have a passion for the game, and I think if that's something that drives them throughout these years to just keep getting better and keep working, then, the sky's the limit. And I'd love to see some of these kids, move on. They're talking about making their varsity teams, going on and play college, wherever that is. I think, there's not as much stress on congratulating kids for playing college at all different levels. I think if you play at the next level, it's something huge that not many people get to say they do, and it shows not only a dedication to the craft, but how much you love it. So I think, the sky's the limit for a bunch of these kids.
You played at the next level. A lot of the counselors have and are currently doing that as well. A lot of the Columbia Junior College players who had just graduated moved on to a 4-year university. We have Noel Alexander at Stanislaus State, Daniel Rico here who just graduated from Columbia, Jacob Casaretto, a current player. All over the place. Almost everyone here, if they're a counselor or working here, has played at a higher level or is currently doing so.
With a score of 4.
So we got a score of 4 there.
And that was Anthony Aiken who scored 4, so that immediately eliminates him out of the competition. But he was a little on and off. We've seen him shoot better in-game, which is more important.
Yeah, I mean, I said the lights are brightest right now, but some may argue, championship games on Friday is when it's going to be brightest. So for all we know, he's going to come out here and bang a couple in the big game, and that'll mean a lot more for his team.
And, if he's feeling it, he might just step in for his twin brother, Randy Aiken, when he's coming up to shoot later. We'll see who's got the hot hand. I don't know if we're going to be able to tell them apart.
Our first competition was the WNBA, and the winner there was Autumn Begley with a second-round score of 6. And this, her brother, Grant Begley, now with a score of 1, entering his 3rd rack.
Grant puts a lot of work in getting better every day. He's asking coaches questions all the time. He's hanging out, trying to just pick up as much as he can.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably been one of the biggest questions asker that I've had at the camp. Every single time I turn my back, I turn around, boom, there he is asking me another question about shooting or something we talked about in camp. So, that just shows how much he loves the game and how he wants to be better.
And it's a family thing because his sister is just the same, you know. She really had some wise words, for such a young woman to come up here. She really hit the nail on the head.
That's what I was saying. I was sitting there listening. She was dropping some gems, for real.
I think I need to be in her class. She needs to be a professor.
What did KD say about Sandvan? Spitting.
2 points for Grant Begley, which eliminates him. Also at the top of the leaderboard for the D-League is the Reen brothers. Ryan Reen with 8, Sean Reen with 5, but we still have a lot more competitors. Currently, it's Reed Peck.
It's nice to see so many of these kids getting involved in this. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, everyone's out here supporting, watching. I'm hearing a lot of claps and getting exciting. So, everyone's being pretty supportive of each other, and, it's all about the competitive spirit. So they're not afraid to go out there and fail, like we were saying.
I can guarantee you that some of the kids who didn't sign up are regretting it now and wish they were up there getting their shine. So next time they get an opportunity, they're definitely going to be here. So Peck having a little trouble getting them in, but he's close on a bunch of these. So pretty soon they're going to, and there he goes. He drops one in right there. Last one of that rack, falls in again. He's got 2 in a row. Let's see with the first money ball rack.
He's very consistent in his shot. He's right around that rim, hitting it every single time. We've seen it a few times hit the backboard. A few people miss, but he has hit every single time somewhere close.
I think something to note here is his footwear choice. I think that's a pair of Crocs, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if that's going to be a positive or a negative for him here.
I mean, it looks like a positive as of now. He has 7 points in his 4th rack. He might get 1 ball off in the 5th. We'll see if he can unleash in time.
Maybe you guys can answer this for me. Are Crocs heavier than basketball shoes? I've never worn a pair.
You're asking the wrong guy. I've
never worn a pair either. So 3 people here have never worn Crocs. I would have thought they would have seemed a little heavier, but maybe, they're lighter, and that's why he had a little leg, because he went on a string there where he got like 5 or 6 in a row, huh?
He started off with a small score, but ended up with 7 total points, which eliminates Sean Reen, the middle child of the Reen brothers. Now up is Ever Spear, number 77, when you see him on the court.
Yeah, I've been calling Everett Luka Doncic all week because when he came up to me the first day and I saw that 77, I thought that was the inspiration behind it. He said he wasn't sure, but, it's kind of stuck with him. So
well, I don't want to drown your boat, but the numbers just correspond in the order of how somebody registered. So that's what it comes down to. But, hey, you've been calling him that and it works out. I don't see a problem.
I think it's a good name to have. If someone's calling you Luka Doncic right now, I don't think it's a bad thing. So
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
If you're at the restaurant, maybe not the best thing to call somebody. But if you see this, he's also wearing Crocs.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know. Is it a generation thing? I'm not sure.
It has to be.
It's a heck of a commercial, I guess. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe trying a pair out now. These kids they're doing really well out here.
Ever Spear gets a score of 4, not enough to beat out Reed Peck, who's currently in second place with a score of 7. So you have to tie or beat out 7 as of now to be in that top 2. And we have 7 more contestants to go in the D-League. Up next, a familiar name. It's said quite a bit in the broadcast, Blake Snyder.
Blake Snyder was on the losing end of a blowout today. They never stopped pushing. It was the last game of the day. I think everybody was a little tired. I've seen the Warriors get blown out. You throw that tape away. Coach Henderson let them know that, hey, sometimes you just have those days. Their shots were close.
Never seen the Warriors blown out. Never done it.
Yeah. Well, that's selective memory. So I think, honestly, Snyder might have been saving everything for this contest. That might be the reasoning. Let's see what he could do out here because we know he can play.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's been one of the kids that hasn't been afraid to pull up from basically anywhere on the court. So the confidence is there, and that usually translates in this type of competition.
First one just misses. Same exact spot on the second, though.
And the third. Again, consistent misses. It's usually a good sign you can fix something, a quick tweak, and you can get right back into it.
Yeah, he gets one out of that first rack. He's on to his second. Nails the first one of that rack.
And you can see this was kind of the strategy you were talking about. You could tell he's taking his time a little bit more to make sure he gets the correct jump shot out. And, 2 in a row there, it might be paying off for him.
Yeah, I think he might have had a little interference. That rebound was coming right back at him. Might have threw him off. He might have got it. But he's on his first money ball rack. He's got 20 seconds left on the clock. And what does he need, 3 more to stay in it?
Yeah, these are the ones that count right here. Big shot right here.
10 seconds to go. He needs to get a couple more in to stay alive in this contest.
And to me, on Monday, when I first met Blake, he came walking by me, and I thought he was a reincarnation of John Bender from The Breakfast Club. He looks just like him. If we get a close-up, there he is. You have to see his face. Looks exactly like him.
I don't know how I feel about you and all these old-school references, Levi.
I'm an old soul.
Apparently. Are you a veteran as well?
Hey,
what you're saying?
I got that reference,
soul?
so I don't know. That one, I'm not sure.
No, I'm an old soul. I got raised right by my parents. DMD, Digital Underground, we were talking about as well.
Yeah, shout out to Oakland.
I was all over the place.
Shout out to Brooklyn and the Bronx and Queens, man.
Next up is Slick Rick. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to move on to Landon Bader.
Hurry up. All right, so
looks like we got a delay with one of the racks maybe. Got to make sure it's regulation out there. You don't want any excuses for any missed shots. So this is important.
Moving back to Blake Snyder's round, he had a total score of 6, which also isn't enough. He was 1 shy of Reed Peck, so he is also out of the contest.
Well said, Levi.
Sometimes the words get jumbled over themselves.
Hey, we're all putting in long hours out here. We all care what we're doing. We all care about how everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
We don't expect anybody to be perfect, and we can't expect it from us either. We just all try to do our best and get through it together.
Yeah, if Wordle had to make, one of their daily words for me, it would just be a jumble mess.
No, I think what you guys are doing is super cool. I know as someone who, I played Division I, I got to, become close with a couple of my color analyst people, and one that was one of my favorites. His name is Mitch Stroman. He was my announcer at NAU, and he was a great on the call. And as I was saying, I was a 3-point shooter, and he always had a signature call where he would call it. He'd say Avdalovich 3-shot, bang, and everyone loved it, and it was one of my favorite things. And you grow, you build relationships with these people, and so I think what you guys are doing for these kids at such a young age, they they can go back and look at these clips, and say one day I was at camp and, I made this move and listen to the call that they had to say about it. So I think it's really cool.
One of my favorite things in the world is when I'm out in public. Even I've been in Oakland, actually, and I was doing a few games, and one of the parents came over and said, "Hey, you're that guy from NorCal Sports TV," and called me out by name, said, "Oh, I recognize you from the games, the broadcast. We have so many clips of you calling my son." And it's one of the most proud moments knowing that people enjoy the clips and it's out there. So if you see us out in public, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. Just make sure it's us, too.
Well, yeah, Levi, I wanted to say the same thing. That is the biggest reward, honestly. As much as I love watching the game, and I'm a nerd about the stats and the different positions and the schemes that you can write up, I didn't know it was going to affect me as much as when the first time a parent came up and said, "Hey, really appreciate what you do and how you call the games." It's a great feeling. And sometimes they let you know when you mess up, and that's fine, too. That's why we gave out the handles.
Yeah, and if you would like to tip me, my Venmo – no, I'm just kidding.
Cash at me, bro.
Here's Landon Bader, and what I noticed initially is that he's watching every ball release and see if it goes in or if it misses, and that's taking a lot of time off the clock. We mentioned it early. If he makes it, not a problem, but he's just off the mark onto some of these.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, you got to see it go through a couple times, and that could be the difference here in these last two racks as he's running out of time. But, when you get into these shooting competitions, a lot of it has to be feel. These are shots that if you're a good shooter, you've practiced them hundreds of times, so you should know if it's going to drop or not.
Doesn't look like he's going to advance to the next round, but he gets to the last rack, and like we said, that's an accomplishment in itself because it's a lot of work to throw that many basketballs 30 feet.
I'm telling you, I don't know how all these kids are doing it, to be honest, because, I know I'm tired right now from being on my feet all day, and I didn't play. I was just out there blowing the whistle and trying to coach them out. The fact that they're out here running in a circle, putting up all these shots in such a short amount of time, it's really impressive. I would guess they're going to sleep amazing tonight.
Well, remember, they also have a 6 a.m. optional workout, and I know a lot of these kids are going there too, but that ends Landon Bader's round with 3 for the three-point contest in the D-League. We have 5 more contestants, and next up is Paraja Francis.
Francis is in the running to be one of the most improved players of the camp. He's really, put his head down. You see him improving every game he plays. I hope we see a good showing from out here. But you can see he's just chucking them up, trying to get through the racks.
I think he's a camp favorite, too. You can hear all these kids yelling for him, joking around with him. He's a hard worker on the court, too. I think I saw him pull down a bunch of rebounds in one of his games. Loses the hat right here. He's just out here having fun. You got to respect him.
He's definitely having fun. He's smiling, hasn't made one yet. I'd be out there throwing the balls the opposite direction in anger.
Hey, I respect it. Oh, he lost it. He just now realized he lost the hat. I mean, he's locked in.
He might actually be the first one to go all the way down to the second money ball as well. He's unleashing these fast.
He is not getting close, but nobody cares. Everybody's rooting and cheering him on.
This is the loudest they've been for anybody.
Please get the money ball. Please get the money ball.
Get in there.
Oh, we're just going to pretend I went in. When I tell the story 20 years from now, that's going to be the one he hit.
I got to applaud the run. For what it was worth, and that was a special minute.
Yeah, that's too much right there, man. You got to appreciate, hey, we all need to be entertained a little bit sometimes. So shout out to Faraja Francis. We appreciate you, brother.
And Coach Ty Ellis came out here and talked about ownership. He was having fun with it. You talk about people coming out here maybe being afraid of being embarrassed. That was not him at all. He knew who he was. He just wanted to have some fun. And I think, that's the spirit of the camp right there.
Yeah, but we know this next player coming up, he's not messing around. He's coming out here to win it.
Definitely.
He takes every game so serious. He has fun while he's doing it, but you could tell he really cares about getting that win.
Starting off a little slow, but like we've seen a couple people get hot just watching one or two fall, so it could change in an instant.
Prado onto his second rack.
It's interesting. You see a couple of them taking dribbles in between a couple of the shots. I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I could change up the way that I approach each shot, but if it works for them, I gotta respect it.
Yeah, he's speeding up a little bit now. He knows he needs to get some in the hoop to stay in the competition. He's on his first money ball rack. As of yet, he only has one, and there's two. And like you said, Luke, once you get one in, It's a lot easier to get that second one in.
15 seconds left for Jace Prado. He was a late addition to the sign-up sheet.
5 seconds. There you go.
Finishing up strong. Switch sides on the rack there. That's an interesting play.
Gets this one off and doesn't get the shooter's touch. Jace Prado ends with 3.
Yeah, again, he at least got one off there on the final rack, and I'm going to give everybody who gets that final rack an extra gold star tomorrow.
So do you think any of these kids before were watching film of like any previous three-point contests, for some strategy or anything? Because I know there's a little bit of strategy, what side of the rack you want to be on, which ball you want to grab from, speed you want to go from. And I know they're watching the film of their own games. Do you think that they tapped into some, old school Larry Bird film or anything maybe?
Well, I'll tap in first. I know a few of these campers are returning, and so they know what to do. They know what to expect. Of course, we used to have this in the gym, although because of the snowfall during the winter, the roof collapsed on it, so they're going to be building a new one. But now with it outside, it changes the game a little bit. But those returning campers, they know exactly how much time, they know where there's going to be, how it's going to be set up, so they have that going for them. On the other hand, I think everyone's just so confident in their shooting ability that they don't look it up. They just go, I know how to shoot a 3. I'm going to go out there and do it.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need Steph Curry to show you how to shoot sometimes.
I think after this, some of these players will be looking at tape and going back. Right? Players like Autumn Begley, she seems like she has that passion to always be getting better, right? Some of these kids, like you said, they're just going out there having fun. Like Francis is not going to go check out any three-point competition tape.
Randy Aiken on his second rack just finished up, and now he goes to the top arc. 5 balls, the 5th one's the money one.
Let's see if he keeps his hat on this round. I know we've seen a couple of drops, so.
Real Hoopers know, shout out to PYT, my kickball team back in Brooklyn. I love all of you guys.
PYT, just like the song
That's
playing?
right.
Okay. Just making sure. I was like, did he say the right thing there? Doesn't get that one. Randy Aiken with our second 0 score in the D-League. And remember, standing on top, we have Ryan Reen and Reed Peck yet to be beaten out. Reen has the score of 8. Reed Peck on the chopping block with 7. And still 3 more to go in the D-League. You're watching the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp 3-point contest. Luke Avdalovich, Sonny Oaks, and myself, NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores. Follow us on Instagram there at our tags. And also, since you're on YouTube watching this competition, subscribe to NorCal Sports TV, like the video, comment, say hi, ask a question.
Turn notifications on.
Yeah, turn notifications on. Ask Luke a question in the comments.
Luke is here for all the smoke, so ask him anything you want.
Whatever. I put my name out there. They asked me to come on air, so, whatever you got for me, I'm here.
No, we appreciate you for coming out here, man. We actually needed, an expert.
Oh, an expert. See, you guys were just talking about how you get noticed in public. I mean, I'm next to the superstars here. I'm merely an expert. I don't know about that.
We're good at talking.
I believe it. Like I said, I've been here with you guys for 3 days, and I've been so impressed so far. So.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And I just checked. Comments are turned off, so I'm sorry to those who went to try and comment.
Got him.
My apologies, but you can let us know when you show up on Friday for the championship games. Any questions that you have, any comments for us. I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure these two would as well.
Absolutely.
This is Kevin Feng, number 74 in the D-League. He has 20 seconds remaining on his time. He has put up 4 points through 3 racks and has a decent chance of possibly adding on to that 7 that Reed Peck has as well to make a 3-way for the second round. But he needs to do it here on the 5th and final rack. 5 seconds.
Like a machine, just getting them off.
Yeah.
Money ball to hit 6. Doesn't do so. He blazed through those last 2 racks. He had 4 at the top and then didn't convert any else.
Yeah, I thought that that money ball at the top of the key was going to be a big momentum thing for him. He had a couple rim out there on that 4th rack, so a tough round there, but, I respect him for coming out here and competing.
Before we enter the final 2 competitors of the D-League, 8 points and 7 points are our top 2. Do you think it's going to get beaten in the final 2 competitors?
That's
Remember,
a tough
this is the D-League, 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, no, I think one of them may be able to touch it. This is a good player right here, my man Jaden. He can really handle the ball. He's not afraid to get his shots up, so I think he has a chance. But one thing is that money ball rack, man. If that, it scores like 7 and 8. That's
a
2
game
points.
changer.
Yeah, it can change the whole course of your round. So I don't really want to make too many predictions until I see what happens with that one.
This is Jaden McIntosh, a very confident shooter. I just saw him play his last game. It came down into overtime for the final minute and just barely lost. He couldn't hit that final three-pointer to tie up the game, but that's how they lost that. But I know he still has confidence in his deep-range abilities.
Well, he came up to me before he was shooting, and he asked me how much money I would give him if he made them all.
And you said $1 million because I know it's not happening.
Well, I pulled a quarter out of my pocket. I said, I won't even give you this, but I'll dap you up.
No, this has been one of my favorite campers this week. He's got a great smile. He's always joking around with me, trying to get better. So it's fun to see him out here.
He looks like he's a very serious individual, right? He walks around with that sort of that like serious face, but when you start talking to him, he's all smiles and jokes, and he goes out with such confidence. He is one of those pleasures to watch play out there.
Definitely.
McIntosh, final score 4. So he is also eliminated, and he's actually one. Once I saw him walk up to that rack, I thought for sure that he was going to be somewhat on the top of this list. But like I said, it's all about in-game play versus out-of-game play. And if you're better in-game, I don't see a problem with you not doing that outside of it.
I don't think many people would be upset with that, especially his teammates.
His teammates love him.
I bet.
He knows they got their back, and they all got his back.
He can really handle the ball, too. So
Nash Burgess hits his first shot of the first rack. That's always a good momentum boost.
Burgess has one of those sneaky games. He's actually got some decent handles, and he can pull the string.
he was with Coach Ty this morning. He was taking us through some different ball handling stuff that looked kind of foreign to a lot of us, like some new drills that we'd never seen before. And he was really taking his time and making sure he was getting it right, and he was doing a really good job with it. So you could tell he's a real meticulous player when it comes to the details of the game.
I'm calling shenanigans on every player out here in flip-flops or Crocs.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Here comes his money ball. He hits that one to make it 4. This could be 6.
How do you not stub your toe or anything? I feel like this is dangerous.
My ankle's shivering looking at this.
I've turned a couple too many to feel the same way.
You asked, does it matter? Does it help? Does it make you do worse? But would you tell these campers to put on the shoes before the competition regardless?
No doubt. No doubt. I've seen too many fluke injuries, knock on wood. I would hate to see that happen tonight, but there's no reason not to just put on some normal basketball shoes.
I'll be honest. I saw Autumn do it, and I thought she would be the only one we had to change into some basketball shoes. And then what do? We see, 90% of these guys out here. We'll see.
And so for the two finalists in the D-League division of the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp 3-point competition, Ryan Rhee had the leading score of 8, and Reed Peck had 7. Now, we saw them both compete out there. Reed Peck, there's no other way to put it, a horrible start. But he brought it back in his final racks, got the second highest score of 7. Now, what do you think happens in this secondary? They were 2 of the first 5 players to shoot, so they're all rested up now, and Ryan Rhee is going to allow Reed Peck to go first.
I think you said rested up. I think with the amount of shooters that we had in this one, I'd fear that maybe he got a little cold out here as the sun went down. So I think a hot start for him might be the key for a victory.
Yeah, I almost want to give the edge to Peck here just because I think he's got more upper body strength and he'll be able to get to more of the balls, which gives him obviously a better opportunity to make more in.
I've seen Ryan Rhee get tired, but I've never seen him waver from his skill level. His skill ability is always at the same level, and that's something you have to applaud him for. So he may be tired, he may be gassed, he may still have a little arm fatigue, but I think he's probably going to shoot around the same amount of 8.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very close regardless of the outcome.
Here's the money ball. Looks good, but
in and out.
Rolls out, plunged out at the last second.
There's the bank. The bank is open, like you said.
Banking it in from the wing. That's an odd situation there.
It's almost more impressive than a swish, I would say.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
When it hits that backboard right middle of the square and it bangs right through the hoop, that always sounds and looks cool.
5 points for Reed Peck, his second round. Remember, those first scores doesn't matter. It's all about what they do at number 2. So he has 5, and now it's Ryan Rhee. The pressure is on him. He needs to make 6 for a victory.
So here's somebody with his background who should know a little bit about gamesmanship. You think he slows down and takes his time just to get the first 5 in?
No, I think after he's been sitting for as long as he did, the adrenaline's got to be pumping in this final round. I think he's going to try to get him off quick right here, stay hot early, and, by the time he gets to the top, maybe he's already at that 5 number.
Here he is starting off with 1 down. Count it for 2. I don't think we should talk. I think we just let him do his work. Maybe we should talk. 3 points through the second rack.
Levi, don't be scared of dead air. It's okay. I know what we were all
I'm not
trained.
scared of dead air. I felt bad as soon as he started missing. Here's the top rack. He has 3. He needs 3 more to take the lead and a victory.
This money ball right here is going to be huge for him.
Nails
He
it.
likes pressure. This can be a win. 4 points, 20 seconds to go, the start of the fourth.
Sonny, you're right. Looks like we're in for a close one here for sure.
15 seconds.
Nails it.
There's number 5. He has the tie. 1 more for the win.
Ooh.
10 seconds. Got it. 6 points for Ryan Reen and a victory on his belt.
3 seconds left. Let's see if we can get another one in.
A little victory lap here.
Ooh, just
Doesn't
in and out.
get that one, and I didn't want to jinx the man. But I do have to say that Ryan Reen has won this competition before.
Oh, back-to-back champ, or was it a few years back?
I believe it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get him over here and ask him himself. NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores, Luke Evdalovich, and our D-League three-point contest champion, Ryan Reen. Ryan, how'd you feel out there? You went to the second round, and you won it again.
Felt good.
Felt good. You're never one to answer my questions in full, but you love putting on that headset. You do it with a lot of confidence. How often do you want to put on a headset in the future?
A lot.
A lot? Well, we have Luke Evdalovich here, one of the greater three-point shooters, went to University of Pacific. What do you have to ask?
Your brothers are here listening to you on your interview. They were helping you rebound and everything. What does it mean to get the win while they were helping you out?
It's awesome because they're here to see me.
Man of many words, huh?
Well, we know your dad's watching. We know your family's watching. Do you have to say anything to them? No? All right, well, I'll say hi for you. He says hi. Well, our D-League three-point contest champion, Ryan Reen, second year in a row, correct? No?
I don't think so.
Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years ago. Well, he does have 2 under his belt and hopefully many more. Ryan Reen, D-League three-point contest champion.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan. WNBA champion Autumn Begley, NBA champion Jameis Sullivan, D-League champion Ryan Reen. And as we finished up the interview, he said, sorry, I get embarrassed, but he has nothing to be embarrassed about. A three-point contest champion for 2 years. It wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, but he still has 2 in him.
It's impressive. I mean, I'm not much of a record book junkie myself, but I'm not sure there's too many NBA three-point contest multiple time winners, and those who are some pretty big names. So he's up there with an elite company.
The cool thing was his brothers were right here watching his interview. They were following him on all his shots. This is a family that really supports itself. It starts from the top. So shout out to his family, raising really good kids.
Definitely. That was what I wanted to ask him too. At what did it mean for them? But we're on to the next division here, and I'm definitely excited to see this one.
I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores. We have Luke Evdalovich and Sonny Oaks also joining me. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever we're at on the socials. And up for the G League, like you said, a new division. And starting us off is Jacob Williamson.
So,
here's
sorry
a kid
to cut you off.
No, that's my fault. I was going to say this is a kid that doesn't lack any confidence. I think since the second I've strolled into camp, it's pretty obvious that he's really confident in himself, and that's I've said it multiple times already, but that's a big thing in this competition.
Yeah, every day I've been trying to get everybody lined up to see who can make the most free throws in a row. And our free throw record holder today is in this competition, and that's Dalton Bentz.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you the number because it's not as high as all of them would like to be. But he does hold the record right now, so it'll be interesting how he holds up in this three-point competition. But my money would be on him.
Williamson gets a score of 2.
I was just going to say, I think that was a good pick. That's another kid that I feel like has really tried to pick my brain a bunch this week since the second I showed up. So I know he's about his game, and, he's passionate about getting better.
Yeah, he and Owen Joseph in particular have really taken on a leadership role. They've been helping out kids in all the leagues, and, we expect big things from them.
They've been coming out here at the lunch breaks and dinner breaks and trying to get me and a couple of the other coaches to play them 2-on-2 and stuff too. Like, that's a pretty ballsy decision. So, like, good for them. It shows you they're not afraid of the light, and they want to get better. So
it's the only way to get better.
Yeah.
A lot of competitors to get through. Just over an hour through the three-point competitions. WNBA champion Autumn Begley, NBA champion Jameis Sullivan, D-League champion Ryan Reen, who was just crowned for the second time in 3 years. And now we'll have a new G-League division champion, and it's one of these 12 contestants.
You see Autumn still down here rebounding,
No quit in this one, right?
What a humble champion she is,
Yeah.
She's out here trying to help everyone else do well.
She got that Steph Curry thing,
Yeah.
all work, and then some more work.
Now, what do you think about the changes, Luke, in the NBA three-point contest where they have one full rack of money balls? The last ones are money balls, and then they also have the new Mountain Dew three-pointer, which is an extra 5 feet behind the line, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a cool addition. I think it kind of changes up. It gives the power back to the shooters, especially when you get to pick what money ball rack you are. Everyone knows they have their spot. So that's a nice touch, and I think the game has changed. The 35-foot three is not a crazy shot anymore for most players that are in these competitions. So it's something that you got to put in.
That was Aiden Lunder with a total score of 5, so he is number 1 as of right now, and Jacob Williamson gets put on the chopping block with a score of 2. And now up is Holden Cook.
Holden Cook has got to be the most humble player in the whole camp here. How do you feel about that, Luke? Am I right in that assessment?
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's another one that always has a smile on his face. I can't help but have a laugh with him whenever I come and talk to him. He's like, I always joke around him with his hair. I'm a big Kevin Huerter fan. I always say, you got the red velvet look. So, hopefully he can come out here and shoot like him.
He's on his money ball here. Ooh. I'm always pulling for this kid in the games and this competition and in life because, like I said, the humility that oozes from him should be contagious.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little dose of what he has.
Definitely.
You said that the wing bank-in shot is more impressive than a swish, and I think I've seen that more than actual swishes in this competition.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong. I think I said it might be more impressive.
It might.
So, yeah,
If somebody says might, we know the true feelings.
Yeah.
Making it a gun show over there as he gets through all the racks. Shout out to Holden Cook. Finishes with 3.
So Holden Cook will be on the chopping block now as Jacob Williamson gets denied entry into the second round. So it's Aiden Lunder at the top with 5 and Holden Cook with 3. But up next, Owen Joseph. I had a chance to go 3-on-3 against him at lunchtime, and I denied to be next to him, guarding him, or having him guard me. So you can pretty much tell what's going to happen here.
No, he's a big-time player. He's a big-time player, and going up against the coaches, he's not afraid to fail, like we've talked about a couple of times so far. So, I'd like to see him come out here and shoot well. And I've in the games that I've reffed, he's shot the ball really well.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him. I'm impressed with his work ethic. I'm impressed with his social skills. Just all around good kid.
I'm impressed with his hair, too.
I remember having that kind of hair. That's why I wear a hat these days. But, yeah, I'm a little jelly.
He has great timing as of right now. 20 seconds left, just about finished up with his 4th rack. And he has 5 points, which is tied for the leader. And now entering the 5th rack, it seems like he's going to get all of these off and has a chance at that money ball. 6 points as of now. Chance to make it 8 from the corner. Misses it all. And it is 6 points, the new leader, and knocks off Holden Cook.
Big time round for him early. I know we got a lot of competitors in this this division, so the numbers could shake up. But to put himself in that position right now, it's definitely a good spot.
Yeah, it's scary though. 6 with the shooters that are left in the competition. I don't know how confident you can feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. Time will tell.
And sometimes you just have to get lucky.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, if it wasn't for luck, or bad luck, they say some people wouldn't have any luck at all. But you really got to just make your luck.
Yeah.
And that's through practice, that's through reps, You know, one of the favorite things I heard from, we keep going back to Coach Ty, Ellis, who came in today, your reps make your reputation.
I like the saying, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
And, you know, we've talked about wardrobe a few times. We got pajama pants and sandals on this competitor. Definitely something I wouldn't do myself, but he's hot early, so I can't say much.
5 points through 2 racks, 50%. Still has 30 seconds to shoot.
He's another player that gets other guys involved, and when I see him in their games, you know, he's quick to pull that string, but really he waits for a good look.
We have yet to see a double-digit scoring player in the three-point contest this year. We've had multiple in the back, and he can do so in this final rack, but he has to start knocking him down. There's 7. 1 second. And that's the final one. Not going to go. 7, which beats out Aiden Lunder. He's knocked out, and Owen Joseph is on the chopping block right behind Sachio.
Seychelles? Seychelles.
Seychelles.
Yeah. Oh, Hayward in the house. East Bay people, stand up.
Another set of pajama pants.
Yeah, this is Alex Sudario.
I mean, it is getting late here, but if you signed up, I don't think you should be getting ready for bed. I don't know.
No lack of confidence from Sudario, who's shooting right now.
Not at all.
What a fitting song, too. I'm still standing. I'm still in the competition. I'm still going strong.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit off put by your well-rounded knowledge of things 3 times or twice your age.
I know more about the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s than I actually know about my generation. They call us Zoomers, actually. I'm not in Gen Z, and I'm definitely not Gen X, but not a millennial either. I'm in this middle ground where I just know a lot of things about the past and don't really like my generation.
Levi, I think you'll appreciate this, but I've never been into titles, and you can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to be a Zoomer if you don't want to be. I mean, Autumn Begley sat right here and told us you can be whatever you want as long as you believe in put in the work.
I'm just the voice of choice. That's what you can call me. 4 points for Alexander Sidario. Not enough.
He clears the racks, though. Got to give him props for that.
And it seems in most occasions, once you get to that 5th rack, if you do finish, you have a tendency to have a lower score.
I think it's that Russian thing we were talking about.
Yeah. No, I definitely think you're onto something.
You know, I say this with the experience thing behind me, right? But I would definitely be taking my time on that first rack if any of these people coming up knowing my number is 7 to beat. Yeah. But I love the competitive spirit.
Yeah. You know, some of them might have that mindset, but then the second the horn goes and you got to go, you might just lose it. And it's like, all right, I'm getting these shots up no matter what.
Tavion Johnson Thomas, and I'm going to neglect to say anything until he's finished because I do know the broadcaster's jinx is real. I've said too many things that have happened that I don't want to happen for him.
Now, do you think in this division, you know, we said it was over an hour or so before they got to go. Do you think that I was more focused on what was going on, but do you think any of them were out there getting some extra reps in on these other hoops before their reps were going? Because I feel like the sun went down, it got a little chilly out here, and I'm seeing a lot of misses short in the last few contestants, so I don't know if that was going on.
Well, we have 3 courts on this upper area, and I saw no one on court number 2, which is a good designation that they weren't practicing. Everyone else is kind of sporadic through the other 3 baskets, so I would say no, but I could be wrong.
Did he finish that rack with time left on the buzzer?
Yeah, it looked like it.
3 points for Tavion Johnson Thomas. And what I was going to say, didn't want to jinx it, but he's also one of those very highly aggressive players. He's very confident in his play. But what I see a lot from him is that he drives the hoop with that confidence. He can shoot the ball, of course, but I've never seen a player in this size and stature, because I'm a smaller guy too, but the way he drives to the hoop and doesn't care about being hit is absolutely new to the game.
The size disparity in this age group is really pronounced, right? We were talking about Lamelli, Mateo, and all these guys at PJ, going in. They always attack the rim, but they're all around the same size. So it is impressive to see these smaller guys attack the paint with no fear.
It's good. It'll definitely help them moving on, too. If you want to play at a high level, it's only that disparity is only going to get, taller players, more athletic players, longer arms. It's going to get a lot more difficult to score in and around the rim. So, that being fearless is a big quality to have.
This is Ryan Lynn. He has 5 points at the start of his third rack, and he has the money ball still to go on his next shot. Here's the money ball. Looks good. No.
Just short. He almost went for his own rebound there.
Yeah, you can't, real hoopers want to hoop. They see the ball coming. They're going to grab it.
It's natural instinct.
Final rack, 11 seconds to get all 5 off. He has 7, which is tied for the lead, and that also knocks out Owen Joseph. He just definitely wants to have that cushion if he can knock this last one down.
So these last two guys have got through that last rack with 2 seconds left on the clock. That's impressive. We haven't seen that at all yet today.
Yeah. And to go against what we were saying, usually it was a lower score. He just tied for the highest score there. So he changed the narrative a little bit there. But, there's a lot more competitors to go, so it could we might not see it again.
We're halfway through the G League Division competition. And, Luke, since you're with us, you have the experience. You've been at the higher levels. If you were to give one piece of advice to the people at home watching about basketball, what is the most important thing that you have learned?
So I've gotten this question a lot recently as I've finished up my college career and I'm aspiring to be a pro. And one of my closest friends, my first year at Northern Arizona, where I started my career, JoJo Anderson, he was our point guard. He told me, I was in the gym and I wasn't getting picked up for our pickup games all the time. I was a walk-on, and so I wasn't respected very much. And he could tell that I was a shooter, and he goes, Luke, man, if you want to get on the court, find what you're good at and be head and shoulders better than every single other person on the floor, because then they can't take you off. And so, for me, that was shooting. And so, I just dedicated my time and my craft to getting better at shooting. So that was the best advice that I've ever gotten, and I've always passed that on.
In my opinion, learning how to be a better shooter has got to be one of the hardest things to do in any profession.
It's tedious.
Such slight little, movements on your body affect everything.
Yeah.
That was Mike Flowers, who had 5 points, took that last shot, which was the final money ball, fell just shy from tying up Sacheo and Lynn. So he will dip out of the competition, and those two will be the top still, but we'll move on to Christian Coleman next.
I got a question for you guys. You don't have to answer right away. We got a few contestants left. But I want to know who your top 5 basket getters are in the league that you can remember. Now, that doesn't mean like Michael Jordan, obviously. He was too good of a player to be called, getting a basket guy. Jamal Crawford going to be number 1 on my list.
Jamal Crawford. That's a good question. I'm going to pull one out that is a recent one that, real hoop heads definitely would know the name. He's bounced in and around the league a couple times. I think most recently he played for the Brooklyn Nets. He goes by Mike James. This guy has one of the deepest one-on-one bags I've ever seen. He's a smaller guard, but he can shoot with incredible range. His finishing package is super creative. He's very crafty, so that's one for me.
6 points for Christian Coleman. Make it 7. He is on his way to be the leader in this G League Division Championship. Has his money ball left. He can make it 9 if he drops this one down, but now we'll have a 3-way tie for first place.
Did we establish what the rules were if we had a tie like that?
They'll all go into the next round.
Next round.
Got it. There we go.
Who's your number 1 bucket getter, Levi? You need a bucket for your life. Who you calling? Now, it can't be Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. You can't be these guys that are too good.
It's
they got one
player.
job. It doesn't have to be current through all
through
the
all
NBA.
history.
We know you like the old players. This is what you study.
I mean, I have to agree with my dad because he says it all the time, but it pains me to say it because I've been a Warrior fan my whole life. But Robert Horry.
Big shot, Bob, huh?
Robert Horry. I mean, he's had too many. He sent home the Kings.
Yeah, that's the one that hurts. I'm a diehard Kings fan. So that shot in 2002 lives. It hurts.
I mean, I was, just months old, but still. I mean, Robert Horry has to be one of those guys who he does it.
Yeah, he's on the list. He's definitely on the list, but he big shot, Bob. Like, if it's a big shot, but if I just need a bucket, he might actually be too good to be on this list. Like, he got too many rings.
So I want to flip the question.
You want me to say like Kurt Rambis or something?
Definitely not. Also, No.
Is that too old for you too?
No, it's just 2 Kurt Rambis.
Right now on deck we have Alou Vital, but DJ Gallardo is the one shooting on his 4th rack with only 1 made.
I wanted to flip the question since we are here at the 3-point contest. Top 5 or just a shooter that, winning. I think Robert Horry fits in that category, but someone that, everyone thinks of, the Stephs, the Clays, and all that, but the shooter that you might think doesn't get the recognition but belongs on that type of list.
Oh, man. Nowadays shooting is so highly regarded because of guys like Steph.
Andre Iguodala. No, I'm kidding.
That's
too good of a clip.
I'd say Joe Johnson's too good to be on that list, right? Because real hoopers know.
Yeah.
But I think for the average fan who's not really into the weeds, that might be a guy who could be on their list that they still might have heard of.
That's a really good pick. For me, is the one that I always fight for to be on the top 5 shooters of all time is Peja Stojakovic. Like I said, I'm a diehard Kings fan.
How is he not on everybody's?
A lot of people don't put him up there. A lot of people, put the Damian Lillard pick over him, like some other names. But, yeah, no, Peja was the one that, I grew up watching shooting, and I think definitely deserves the recognition.
I feel like he's 1 through 5 on the Sacramento list and Orlando.
Yeah, I think he is.
I had to take my headset off for a moment, but are we still talking about the underrated players?
Yeah, shooters.
Underrated shooter. I've been a fan of him just recently, watching him go through the league and get traded, but Campaign.
Yeah. He's got great energy.
Yeah.
Our shooter on the court right now, Alou Fidial, is one of my favorite players at camp. He came in, he was real quiet, and then I saw him start playing, and he was hooping.
I think I refed one of his evaluation games, and I think he probably had 15 rebounds. Like, he's got a lot of heart and a lot of hustle.
Without a lot of talk.
Yeah.
He just went to work.
New footwear, too, some Birkenstocks.
Yeah, here we go. Add it to the repertoire.
That's going to be
next we're going to see somebody with the barefoot. No.
3 points for Vital, and that's not enough as well. So we still have that 3-way tie between Ryan Lynn, Christian Coleman, and Sashao.
Seychelles. I think he's got it wrong on the screen.
Gosh.
I called a lot of his games, so I'm pretty sure Seychelles.
I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores. We have Luke Avdalovich and Sunny Oaks. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that. And follow us at NorCal Sports TV. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, like the videos, and when you have a chance, comment if they ever become available.
Rowdy dollared up now. I love saying his name.
Go for it. I love it too. Luke, you want to hop in on the party?
I love his shirt that he's got on. For super bad McLovin fans, it's a good one. He's got a great energy about him. So.
Yeah, he came over and dropped off his phone and wallet. Said, "Can you hold this for me? I'll be right back."
Good for him, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
Top of the arc. He's taking his time.
Ooh, not the best look on that shot. He's laughing at it, though. He knows better.
He's glitching in real life. Maybe we're in the Matrix.
All right, talking about glitching, who's your favorite Disney princess ever? For me, it's Glitch.
I got to think about that one.
You don't have to answer that, Luke.
I wasn't expecting that type of question on here tonight, so that wasn't on the tip of my tongue.
Well, I hear Glitch, and that's all I could think of. Like, wow, what an inspiration that little girl was. Princess Penelope, I think? I can't even recall. But everybody should go.
Ralph,
Wreck-It Ralph,
right?
yeah.
Rowdy Dollard, 1 point. We have 2 more competitors on my list at least. Dalton Bentz is one of them, and he can do everything on the court. We've seen him do it all offensively and defensively. And Carter McCann, who is on the same team, and he can do the same thing.
Yeah, here was Sonny's pick early. Again, another great player, another one that's been definitely trying to pick my brain all week. So I know he's definitely interested in being great at the game and wanting to better himself.
Yeah, sorry, Levi. I think I broadcast jinxed him by picking him early.
I'm not saying anything. They're going to come back and yell at you. That's what they're going to do.
He's definitely not one of the players to make any excuses for his missed shots or his missed plays. I'm not too worried about it.
No, I saw him turn his ankle a little bit in the game yesterday, and I was like, "Are you good? All right? You all right, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. It hurts a little bit, but team needs me." That's a competitor right there.
His time is great right now. He has 6 points with 6 balls left, 15 seconds to get them all off, and a money ball if he can get through those first 4. One more to get into that final round. Benz, it looks like he might just get that final money ball, but if he makes this,
big.
it'll be the best. He ties it up. Can he take the lead? Good! Knocks it through, throws the dart, gets the bullseye. 9 points for Dalton Benz, and he has the lead.
God, I love being right.
Yeah, so he was over here trying to stay quiet the whole time. While he
I
was
was
getting
holding
out
my
there.
breath. Where you start praying at the ball, talking to it in your head like left, left, left.
That was a confident stroke there with the money ball, too. I think he knew it was going to go in before it left his hands.
All right, I got a very important question for both of you guys. One shot for your life. If the player misses, you're dead. If he makes it, you're alive.
At this camp?
No. JJ Redick or Larry Bird?
Gosh. JJ Redick.
Oh, you're dead.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Nice knowing you.
He's a new age player. Like, if he's open, I just feel like the three-point ball wasn't very relevant back in the day. Of course, they were really good, but when you take a look at the separation between how many each player took, I feel like J.J. Redick has a better chance to do it.
Man, I thought you were an old soul. You're dead, though. That's Larry Bird every day.
I'm taking J.J. Redick as well, not for any of the statistical anything that he just
Okay.
said. I grew up watching J.J. I've modeled my habits like him. He's talked about his rituals. Being a professional is all about building correct habits, and I've tried to emulate that with myself, and so I got to stick with him.
Okay, just so you guys both know, I've heard J.J. Redick ask this question, and even he picked Larry Bird.
I mean, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. Either way, I'm just saying, like, that's what it comes down to for me. But here's our final shooter in the G League division, Carter McCann. He needs to get 7 points so that he's tied with the other 3 in second place. And right now he's looking steady at 3, but also Dalton Benz has 9. So if he gets 8, then we have our top 2 shooters. If he gets 7, then we'll have 5 players going into the second round. And Dalton Benz is just sitting down, chillaxing, probably having a slushie because he knows that he's in number 2.
You know, he's one of the most relaxed players out here. Yeah. Game time, before game, during the drills, he just listens, his eyes are always open and attentive. He's always paying attention.
I think it's a quiet confidence about him. You don't have to be cocky or boastful about it when you know that, you're good. And I think he does a good job of, he's confident, but he keeps it to himself, and he's obviously just trying to get better.
Well, and all these other kids recognize how good he is, and they all have positive things to say about him. And it's that attitude you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Carter McCann ends his round with 4, and it looks like we actually have another competitor coming up.
Dylan Clark right here, number 66 on his jersey. And
doesn't seem to be taking this too seriously.
Trying an unorthodox style, to say the least, I guess.
I think he hurt his ankle. Maybe this is him, compensating for that hurt ankle he had.
Oh, and they cut him out. They didn't like his form.
I don't blame him.
I mean, we are here to learn how to play basketball, and of course, if he's not going to go for it and attempt the actual shots and take a stab at getting in that top 2.
Yeah, you don't want to disrespect the hard work and effort that every other contestant put in here. So I can understand that.
And shout out to the rebounders. I would just mention them for a second. I know they're out there working, and they've been working all day on their feet, reffing and coaching too. So definitely a big shout out.
I'm not sure who Coleman is. That should be
Christian. So we do have Junior Seychau. I thought I said that last time. Anyway, Seychau, Ryan Lynn, Christian Coleman, and Dalton Benz. But Dalton Benz does have that number 1 spot with 9. And actually, so a correction on the rules. I'm wrong once again for probably the 3rd year in a row. Since we do have that tiebreaker, everyone who is tied in the second spot has to have a tiebreaker to earn that second spot, and then they'll go up against Dalton Benz. So they really have to go against each other. So that's going to be Junior Seychau.
Seychau Jr.
Seychau Jr., either way, and then Christian Coleman. So those are the 3 battling at it here for that right to the true second round.
I'm a nerd about basketball. I always want series to go 7, so extra basketball is great for me.
Can't complain. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and this might have been a change with one of the older three-point contests, but didn't they used to do like a 30-second round for the tiebreaker in the NBA level? Because I feel like they used to – no one used to get all the shots.
You would know more than I would.
All right, Oh, they got a ball stuck, it looks like. You don't see a wedgie too often in the three-point contest.
Probably one of the funniest things in basketball.
Didn't Clay get one in his?
Did he? Yeah, I think
Was that the one he won even, I think?
Yeah. You know, as a shooter,
could be wrong.
I just remember, and he was a back-to-back champion or a multi-time, I don't remember, but Jason Capono off the Heat, this guy, he could shoot the ball in these three-point contests.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout. I'm glad you brought up the Heat. I'm glad you brought up Miami because, what's going on here?
Looks like
he hit the money ball.
And so as we are about to wrap this up in the final G League Division Championship, and these three players going for the tiebreaker to go into that final spot against Dalton Bentz, we talked a little bit about how we thought this was going to go before we were on air. Did it live up to expectations? Did it exceed? Did it lower?
Yeah, I think it lived up to expectations. I think, you know, it's fun to see all the kids having fun with it. They're not taking themselves too seriously, which, you know, is always a positive. You know, I'm excited to see how this final round plays out. I know Dalton is over there kicking his feet up a little bit, probably thinking about what he's got to do to win. But, yeah, I'm excited to see how it finishes out.
3 points for our second shooter.
Christian Coleman on his first money ball just misses it.
He has 5 now with 22 seconds left in his second round, the tiebreaker round.
Now, we need him to put another one in here. We might be looking at another tie in the tiebreaker.
He does have 10 seconds to do just that, and his form has looked good. He still has that money ball, but all he needs is just one.
He might not even get it off.
Oh, man. Not going to get the money ball off either. So we have 6 for Seychau and 6 for Christian Coleman.
Well, time to see. This is a, you know, it's a big task right here to see if he can, our last contestant in the tiebreaker can beat that 6 score, so we don't have to go into another one.
And I do think they have specified rules for that, just in case it does happen. I can't tell you what they are, but I believe that we have them.
Starts off with 1 early on the rack. He's going at a good pace. I remember on his first attempt, he got all the way around, and he was putting up some good numbers. So he's got a good, efficient stroke, so I think that'll help him out here.
Yes, that's a good steady pace for him, and he is about halfway through with 30 seconds left, so he could finish on that money ball right now. Looks like he could surpass that 6 mark.
Got plenty of time to get these shots up. It's just about knocking a couple down here.
Starting to slow down his pace.
Brian Lynn, another one of those players with a lot of quiet confidence in his game. He comes out, he's not talking a lot of trash, he just goes out and performs.
Lynn with 5, final rack, 3 balls left, 2 to get the final shot off. He has 6. Can this be the decider? No, it will not. I believe that was 6 points it is, so we have another 3-way tie, and we'll get the word from camp coordinator Dion I.
What an amazing competition, you know, to get the same score the first round, to nail it again in the second.
Do you think we cracked the double digits at all in these final go here?
You know, I'm scared to say anything. I don't want to jinx.
My bad. That's a bad question. That's a bad question. This is how you know I'm not the professional here. You know, this is new for me.
So they are going to get to pick 1 rack wherever they would like, best out of 5, but they still have the money ball. So that 5th ball is very important, and you can't do it early, you can't do it late. It's going to be that 5th shot that counts as the money ball. So you have to be on your mark, and you have to pick the right rack.
You might have foreshadowed this a little bit by asking me about the new 3-point contest rules where you get to pick your money ball rack at the NBA level. So it's kind of funny. That's how we're going to decide this one right now.
Where would your rack be chosen for this, and what do you think these players should do at their level in the game?
You know, they know their games better than me. You know, they know their games better than anyone out here. So it's just wherever they feel the most comfortable with. You know, I would go and knock it down from there. For me, I would put it in the far right corner. I've always joked that I pay rent out the corner. You always find me there. So I would definitely put it in the right corner. I think that would be my
Except you can never go to the bank with it. That's the one thing.
It's fine. That's fine. Like I said, the bank was never my favorite thing.
So I guess my initial question about where should these players be is more of, is there a recommended area because they are younger in their game?
I mean, top of the key is probably the easiest visually, and like you've got the most space for a bank. So I'd say that might be the best area. But you know, again, it's up to them.
At this point, with your legs kind of gone, you've been shooting how many racks now? You're in your third round of the contest. You've been playing games all day. You've been doing drills all day. Honestly, I'm calling the bank manager and be like, you need to open up. I'm hitting that red square every time because I don't know if I'm trusted. I don't want to fall short.
I mean, we've been out here long enough. It might, might have circled back around. You might be open already. So.
Christian Coleman going with the left side wing.
6 in the morning, right? Like Ice-T said, Levi?
Oh, I was going more towards Snoop Dogg, but yeah.
Well, he covered it. Yeah. That was a great cover album. Thanks, Violet. And so it looks like they've chosen 2 different racks at this point, right?
Yeah, one was from the top, one was from the wing.
So this is Ryan Lynn up now.
From the opposite wing.
I like the wing shots. It's a tad bit closer, right? Just by a couple of.
I feel like the corner's the shortest.
Maybe the corner is the shortest.
I think the high school line is uniform, actually. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think the NBA corner 3 is the shortest, but high school is pretty uniform, I think.
So not the best showing for Ryan Lynn, but he got it here. I mean, he competed this whole time, and sometimes you don't have it.
You got to think too, like in any of the other divisions, he would be competing for the championship on those last 2 runs. So he had more shots than everyone else, and the fatigue's probably set in a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely got to say the favorite is Bence now, who's got the fresher arms, the fresher legs, didn't have to do those extra 2 rounds of shots.
This is the championship round. Junior Seychau was eliminated. Ryan Lynn eliminated in the double tiebreaker round where they were able to get 5 shots apiece from wherever they liked to make the most possible and earn their spot against Dalton Bence. And Dalton Bence, he's been waiting on the side. He had a score of 9 in his first round. He starts off with 2, and it goes back to the original rules where you have 1 minute. You go all the way around, take as many shots as you can. Money balls at the top, 5th ball, and the 5th ball in the 5th rack.
Just short on the money ball. I think, I don't know. I didn't get a peek at him while he was waiting his turn, but if I was him, I probably would have thrown a hoodie on, maybe some rip-away sweats to try to keep the body warm a little bit because it's definitely getting a little chilly out here. And
some jumping jacks, anything.
Yeah.
That's 4 points for Bence. Still has a few more to throw up and plenty of time to do so. That's 5 money ball to make it 7.
And he nails it.
Big time
Nothing
money ball.
but nylon for Dalton Bence, who adds a score of 7. First round 9, second round 7, but now Christian Coleman, who had 7 in his first round, 6 in his second, and then had another tiebreaker even after that, has to go up once more and take even more shots than what Dalton Bence just showed.
Yeah, I mean, could be a positive and a negative. He could be a little bit warm. He might have some confidence watching the 4 go through on the tiebreaker round, so could go either way.
Christian Coleman starting off in that same corner. Every time he hit the first, second one just off the left side front.
The pressure's on. He knows he can hit 7. He's gotten so close in every other round.
That was a big-time money ball by Dalton.
That's that kid. I mean, he's wearing the OT shirt. I would have loved to see him come up with the game over after that, but that's not his style, It would have been cool to see.
That's supposed to be our call, huh? That was from the booth when the "it's over" call came over.
It's over.
I like Steph's, too.
Yeah, the go to sleep.
3 points through 3 racks. Counted for 5 with the money ball. Now 2 away to tie. 3 for the win. He adds another there. 2 in a row. He ties it up. He needs 1 more for a victory. Christian Coleman battled his way through the first round in multiple tiebreakers. He has 10 seconds for 1 more in the corner. Coleman airballs that one. 5 seconds. That one rolls through the toilet bowl flush. And Christian Coleman, your G League Division champion for the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp 3-point contest.
Young man taking a victory lap. Well deserved.
Definitely.
Fought through so much, just battling against Ryan Lynn and Junior Seychau. And he finally does it. Beats out Dalton Bence, who had such an impressive first round. Luke, what do you have to say before he gets over here?
I was impressed. I was impressed the way he kept battling. He had to go through a couple different little rule changes there with the different tiebreakers. So I'd like to see what he has to say about it, but congrats to him, and it was a big-time win.
Christian Coleman, our three-point contest G League Division champion for the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores. We have Luke Avdalovich and the one and only Christian Coleman. You had a fantastic round. First round, got a little scared because you were tied with so many players, but you battled through, you won, you tied, and then, well, you won again, and then it was that final round beating out Dalton Bentz. What was going through your head in that final rack as you knew you needed that one last shot for victory?
I was just being calm, taking my time to shoot the last shot.
Definitely. I wanted to ask because, you had to go through a couple different tiebreaker stages and stuff. What was your mindset going into each stage, knowing that you had to, be one better than the next person to get to that final round?
They were rushing it, just take your time.
Definitely.
And how did you select your rack when it came to the 5 shots?
Oh, I shot where I shot best from. That's right there.
And that's something that you've been through this camp, or is that something that you focus on through your game in a whole?
Focus on through my game in a whole.
In a hole. Awesome. Well, do you have to shout anyone out at home maybe watching today?
I want to shout out my mom. I love you, mother. And I want to shout out my dad. I love my dad. And I want to shout out my dog. My dog is great.
What's your dog's name?
Dilla.
Dilla?
Yeah.
Shout out Dilla.
Shout out Dilla.
Yo.
Well, our three-point champion for the G League division at the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp, Christian Coleman, any last words for us?
I hope I win the championship.
Well, that'll come up Friday morning. You can join us here on NorCal Sports TV, or you can be here live at the camp. That's at the Sierra Outdoor School. We're here now. We're going to be here tomorrow for more games, but Friday the championship comes, and Christian Coleman, he'll fight his way for that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Well, we'll invite Sunny Oaks back into the booth with me, NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores, and Luke Avdalovich. Here is our three-point contest division champions. Let's run it back from the very beginning. WNBA, Autumn Begley.
Autumn, she came out. She was shaky to start with her confidence, but she came out and she knocked down shots when she needed to. So big ups to her, big time respect. And, she was out there rebounding the whole time. We kept mentioning it. So, she just loves being around the game. So it's awesome to see.
And the 3 contestants in that division was Autumn Begley, who went first. She told me she didn't want to go first. She begged me to change it, and I had no power in doing so. So she still went out there. She had 4 in the first round, in which Allison Molina answered with 6. So Begley had to go out there again. She shot 6 in the second round, and then Molina had 4. Sunny.
This is a great win for her. This is something she's going to carry going forward, even after she leaves this camp. This is something that builds confidence in your game and just in life. I can't say enough about how well spoken she was after, and the beautiful words she shared with all of us are wonderful things to live by.
Then we moved on to the NBA. Jameis Sullivan is our NBA three-point contest champion, beating out DJ Nurnberg, who fell behind in both of the categories. He did move on to that second round, but he had the lower of the scores with 6. Sullivan had 8, and then they both dropped off the edge a little bit. Sullivan ending with 6 and Nurnberg with 4.
Yeah, nothing surprising here. He's been killing it all week. I expect him to do so, finish out the week. So another big congrats to him, and I coach against him every single day, so as much as I don't like to see him make shots, it was fun to watch tonight.
Sonny?
Yeah, that was one of the tougher divisions to watch because we know they have a lot of shooters in there, and I don't think all the legs were in there, so shout out to Jameis for getting it done. It wasn't easy, and he made it happen.
And I've been doing this for 3 years for the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. I've seen these NBA division players grow up, go into the D-League division, and I'm sure in just a few years we're going to see them enter the G-League. So seeing these NBA players do so much now, I'm excited to see what they do as they return in the next few years as well.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to the D-League, in which Ryan Reen, his second three-point contest championship in 3 years. He won with 6 in the second round. He initially had 8 and went against Reed Peck, who had 7 in the first round and finished with 5. Reen won it on the 5th rack.
Yeah, like you said, a champion. He knew what it took. He came out here, he made shots when it counted, and he was a stone cold killer. He had nothing else to say about it. He said thank you. It meant a lot, and that was it. So shout out to him.
Yeah, his whole family comes out to compete, and for him to take the title home for all of his brothers, which I know he'll share, is a special thing, and I know his dad's proud of him.
And going back to Autumn Begley shooting first in her division, Ryan Reen also shot first in his division too. So that was 2 players that started first and ended up winning. And of course, I just want to shout him out one more time, number 87, Francis. He went out there, he didn't make any, but he had the biggest smile. He flexed on him afterwards. I mean, it's just, I love the showboatness. Even if you don't make any, you still have to show some pride.
Yeah, when you're the original, it counts.
Yeah.
And then the last one that we just had for the G League, Christian Coleman had to battle through thick and thin just to get to that championship round against Dalton Bentz. He defeated Seychau, he defeated Lynn, and he was the last one standing from the tiebreaker round in which Dalton Bentz had a lot of time to sit on the side, and you said it. He didn't put on a jacket, he didn't do jumping jacks, and it got him cold, and that's what ended up winning it for Christian Coleman.
Yeah, it was a marathon. He pulled it out. Christian pulled it out. But shout out to him for coming up here and saying he wanted to win the championship. He could have been here and said he was satisfied with what he did this week already, but he had his eyes on the championship Friday. So that's a big time thing for a kid his age.
Sonny?
Props to Dalton for going first. He was the only competitor who won their round and said, I'll put the pressure on myself to do well. He kind of left the door open for Christian Coleman, and who doesn't love an underdog story?
Absolutely. I mean, I love one. I'm sure Luke loves one as well. I'm rooting for him to be an underdog, go from UOP all the way to the NBA, and maybe I'll join you there, hopefully.
Yeah, don't forget about us, man. Don't forget about Weezy Baby.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. You guys were over. Hey, it was a pleasure having me on. I had a lot of fun watching these kids shoot, and like I said, it's been awesome to see what you guys have done this week, and I built a relationship with both of you in the past couple of days, and I know that's only going to flourish the next 2 days and hopefully years to come. So I appreciate you guys.
Let's not forget about Luis, our wonderful director and producer.
Of course. Yes, our entire crew here at NorCal Sports TV. But before we head out of here, we are just over halfway through the camp. Tomorrow is the final day before Championship Friday, which is the most sought after, and Christian Coleman mentioned it in his interview as well. What are you looking forward to in the next 2 days?
I want to see everything that these coaches have been talking to these young players about. I want to see that put into practice in the game. I want them to take these real seriously, and I want to see improvement. And not just as a player, but as people. And I've seen that already. So it's anybody's call who's going to be the most improved player / person at the end of the camp. They're all in competition for that title.
2 more days, and we're very, very honored to have Luke with us. Can you give us a small recap of what you've done once more, and then what you're excited about as we head into that final day on Friday?
I'd like to start with what I'm excited about. These kids, like this, we finished up this 3-point contest, and they're all still out here shooting hoops, and it's awesome to see. But I played years and years of basketball. I know that fatigue sets in, so I'm really excited to see the way that they fight and they grind through that fatigue going into Championship Friday. And I know all these kids have super competitive hearts, so they're just going to want to win whatever it takes, even if they got to drag their legs out of bed, whatever it is. So I'm definitely excited about that. And as for me, I'm not too much a big talker on myself. I'm just glad that I'm here to, try to help the kids. And like I said, I've learned a lot from them as well, and it's been a blast. So I'm just looking forward to being here to finish the week.
I'm glad you're here. Sonny's glad you're here. The campers are glad you're here. And I know our camp director, Dion I, is glad you're here as well. But you'll be here through the rest of the camp. So will we. So join us tomorrow as we continue with more of the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp. He's been Sonny Oaks. He's been Luke Avdalovich. You can follow him on Instagram and Twitter there. I'm NorCal's voice of choice, Levi Flores. Thanks to our crew, Forrest Avery on the camera. And, of course, our wonderful producer, Louise, on here. We'll see you for more of the NorCal Sports TV Summer Basketball Camp as we continue tomorrow.